Welcome to the Disabled Podcast, starring your host, Christian Reitz.
Hot dog, let's go!
Welcome to the Disabled Podcast, the show that incorporates disabilities with the magic of Disney. Welcome to episode number 9, entitled The Disney Resorts Part 2. Be sure to use our hashtag the Disabled Podcast, when sharing this podcast to all social media platforms. Again, that's hashtag the Disabled Podcast when sharing this podcast to all social media platforms. And now, here is your host, Christian Reitz. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Disabled Podcast. Now, in our last episode, we talked a little bit about the Walt Disney World resorts, and we talked about the different tiers of resorts that there are. So in last week's episode, we covered the difference between a deluxe resort and the value resorts. And now this week, we're going to talk about the moderate resorts and, of course, the villas. But first, yes, you guessed it, the latest in Disney theme park news. The Walt Disney World Resort is celebrating its 50th anniversary from October 1st and lasting through the next 18 months at all theme parks, resorts, and more. With so many new things to experience, this magical celebration is sure to be a hit with the entire family. So be sure to reserve your spot soon so you can jump in and all of the magic of the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary. Alright guys, so let's do a little bit of a recap about the different tiers when it comes to choosing the best Disney resort possible for the duration of your stay. So again, like I've said in the last episode, there are 4 main tiers that you want to kind of take a look at when you're choosing the best Disney resort possible. And those 4 main tiers are the deluxe resorts, the value resorts, moderate resorts, and villas. And all of these tiers are based on cost, amenities, room sizes, and so much more. So let's talk about moderate resorts, and then afterwards, we're going to discuss villas. Now, Walt Disney World has 4 main resorts that are at the moderate level, and those are the Caribbean Beach Resort, the Coronado Springs Resort, Port Orleans Resort French Quarter, and Port Orleans Riverside. Now, Disney also does include the cabins at Fort Wilderness in the moderate category, though those rooms are very different from the other resorts, and really they're kind of their own unique thing. And so, just kind of going back to a couple of these, so I've actually had the privilege of staying at 2 of these moderate level resorts during the last couple trips that I've been on with my family. I've stayed at the Caribbean Beach Resort, and I've stayed at the Coronado Springs Resort. So, a little bit of reason why I like these ones. The reason really why I like the Caribbean Beach Resort was because actually when we got what's called the preferred room, which is basically the accessible room. It's on the lower level, and it has like accessible bathroom, accessible shower, and it's good for people in wheelchairs. So if you're listening and your child is in a wheelchair, or you might be in a wheelchair yourself, the Caribbean Beach Resort is definitely the way to go. I think it's really one of the coolest resorts. Personally, just with the theming of it all, it was one of the most amazing resorts. Now, the Caribbean Beach Resort was actually, what was cool about that one was, it was actually outside of the Skyliner. So all we had to do was we had to just go outside the resort, just right outside the room, and we had to go down just a little bit of the breezeway, and we would hear the Skyliner right across the street. So that was cool because you don't want to take a bus everywhere. So it's cool to have that as one of the transportation options. Which, of course, if you guys want to go back to one of my earlier episodes, you can hear about the different transportation options that I've been talking about over these last few episodes. So that's the reason why I like the Caribbean Beach Resort. Really, is because it was nice and small and compact. Now, the reason why I like the Coronado Springs Resort is because Coronado Springs was really large. I like the grand, it was almost kind of like, if you want to think about like if you go to Paris, you stay out at Paris or some other country like Italy, it was just very big. And so the Coronado Springs was really the best. Now, the food at Caribbean Beach and Coronado Springs were kind of the same in it that has a food court. So a lot of these moderate resorts, and basically all of the moderate resorts, have food courts. So it's not like it's not like a high-end thing. It's really no high-end restaurant or anything like that. You just go to the food court for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're open up, till like 11 o'clock at night. And so really those two resorts were really some of my favorites. Now I have also been to Fort Wilderness when I took actually my family a few years ago. We took a camper to the Fort Wilderness, and we actually got to park the camper there and stay out there. And they have some really cool things for kids at Fort Wilderness that you definitely want to check out on your next stay. Now, of course, the moderate resort, the room sizes are approximately 314 square feet, which is really the average room size for a standard moderate room. Now, again, these rooms, like the Port Orleans Riverside and the Caribbean Beach Resort, these are, small compact rooms. But what's cool is that they actually offer theme rooms, which are some of the most fun in all of Walt Disney World. Now, at the Caribbean Beach Resort, you can find pirate rooms. And at, say, Port Orleans Riverside, there are beautiful royal rooms, just like Cinderella. Now, these rooms are in buildings that are some of the furthest away from the resort's main buildings, but the special theming makes it worth it all for many. Now, the moderate resort prices, again, Disney World moderate resorts are right in the middle of the price range for Disney World resorts, and they usually start about $232 during the regular seasons. Now, that pricing point is a huge selling factor for many families, particularly those with 5 per room, since a couple of moderate resort rooms will allow up to 5, while only the suites at the value resort level are large enough to accommodate more than 4. Now, of course, there are discounts at the moderate resorts as well, so most moderate resort rooms are eligible for discounts, though availability may be very limited. Now, discounts have to be applied either by initially booking it under the discount or modifying an existing reservation to include the discounts. In fact, most people don't even realize that just because a discount is out and the resort you plan on staying at is eligible to have that discount, it doesn't mean you'll automatically get the discounted price. Now, when it comes to theming, again, like I said, Disney has done very good at themings in their resorts. So every resort you go to, whether it's Art of Animation Resort, just all these other resorts, I can't think of all the resorts off the top of my head right now, but all these other resorts have different themings, but the theming at the moderate resorts is but it's not very Disney per se. Now, it does have, of course, gorgeous landscaping and theming based off various beautiful locations, but the moderate resorts are certainly, I gotta say, they're really, really cool. And it's for that reason that families with little ones who want more fun theming might want to consider a value resort. Now, of course, dining options at the moderate resorts, usually they offer a food court, table service restaurant, a lounge bar, and a pool bar. So those are really cool things. And by the way, if you guys like pizza delivery is also available at these places. Now, Port Orleans French Quarter doesn't have its own table service restaurant, but it's a quick walk away or bus stop away from Riverside if a nearby sit-down meal is what you want. Now, if you want transportation to the theme parks from the moderate resorts, then you'll definitely want to make sure that you get onto the bus stops. Now, for everybody except for the French Quarter, transportation really you use the bus stops. Now, each time you hop on a bus, you have to wait for it to stop at the other bus stops along the way. So there's more bus stops within your resort. So say, like, for me, when I went to the Caribbean Beach Resort, we went to a bunch of different places before we got to the place that I was staying at originally. Now, compared to that, to the value resorts that have to just one bus stop per resort, and the moderate resort bus stops can end up taking much longer to get you to and from places at Disney World. Now, the 2 Port Orleans resorts also have a boat option to get to and from Disney Springs. Now, in addition to buses, guests at Caribbean Beach Resort, as well as Pop Century and Art of Animation, which are value resorts, and also Disney's Riviera, which is a deluxe villa resort, which we'll talk about villas in just a moment, they have access to the Skyliner. Now, like I said just a couple minutes ago, that the Skyliner was actually outside of our doors, so we got to roll. I got to roll outside, go down just a little bit of a breezeway, and then go straight across the street, and you can hear the Skyliner actually right out there. Now, if you're into parking and you want to take your car, the cost for parking at a moderate resort is about $20 per night. Now, there are some pros and cons to staying at moderate resorts, and so there's a couple things you want to think about. Again, for everything I'm talking about, you can always go to www.disneyworld.disney.go.com to choose which is best for your stay. Now, let's talk about Disney World Villa Resorts. Now, let's talk about Disney World Villas. Now, Disney World's deluxe villas are all a part of Disney's version of a timeshare program that they call the Disney Vacation Club. And actually, coming up in season 2, if you want to know more information about that, I will actually have an episode in the next season of the Disabled podcast to talk about the Disney Vacation Club. Now, even though the resorts are technically a part of a timeshare, a few rooms at each resort are typically left for general, meaning non-Disney Vacation Club members. Bookings and guests are also able to rent DVC points from owners in order to stay there. Now, Disney World has 13 main resorts at the villa level, but I'm only going to name a few just so you can kind of get an idea. But you can also go to www.disneyworld.disney.go.com for all of these things I'm talking about. For every episode I'm talking about, everything you want to know, that's the website you can go to if you want more information on what I'm talking about. Now, some of the main resorts you might find at the villa level are the Beach Club Villas, the Boardwalk Villas, Bay Lake Tower at Disney's Contemporary Resort, Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa, Old Key West, Animal Kingdom Villas in Jumbo House, Animal Kingdom Villas, Kidani Village, the villas at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, the Riviera Resort, and so much more. Now, as you can tell by some of the names, many of the villa resorts are located in the same spot and share the same amenities as a deluxe level resort. Now, those that don't, like Old Key West and Saratoga Springs, do still offer the same deluxe and upscale amenities that you'll find at other deluxe and deluxe villa resorts. Now, when it comes to different villa resort room sizes, all of these room sizes, really the average room size for a studio, which is considered the smallest room category for the villas, it's approximately 360 square feet. Now, the resort prices for staying at one of these villas, like for staying at Old Key West, are typically $400 a night for guests when booking directly through Disney. Now, rooms, however, can typically be booked with a significant discount by renting Disney Vacation Club points from a Disney Vacation Club owner. Now, of course, there are some discounts at Disney World Villa Resorts. Now, most Villa Resort rooms, except for the Grand Villas, are eligible for discounts, though availability, again, may be very limited, particularly during free dining experiences. Now, most people don't realize that just because the discount is out and the resort you plan on staying at is eligible to have that discount, it doesn't mean that you'll automatically get the discounted price. Now, the discounts have to be applied either by initially booking under this discount or modifying an existing reservation to include it. But once the number of rooms that Disney has made available to be booked under a discount have been secured, that's it. Now, of course, more availability for rooms at a discount won't open up unless somebody cancels or Disney decides to release more rooms. Now, the theming at Villa Resorts is absolutely gorgeous and some of the most elaborate of all the Walt Disney World resorts. And of course, if you're somebody who loves swimming, the swimming pools at the Villa Resorts, unlike the Value Resorts, are the nicely themed pools that have slides. Villa Resorts also have quiet pools available if you would like to know some of that. And the best swimming pool at a Villa Resort is definitely Stormalong Bay, which is shared by the Beach Club Villas, and Yacht Club Resorts. Now, when it comes to dining, each Villa Resort offers a quick service option, at least one table service option, a lounge and a lounge bar and a pool bar. And by the way, pizza delivery is also available. Now, if you're staying at a Villa Resort and you're looking for transportation, some resorts that are in the Villa option actually allow you to walk to a theme park. Like, for example, a lot of people, they book at Bay Lake Tower or the Contemporary Resort, and that actually gives you the ability to have a walkway to the Magic Kingdom. Now, if you're looking to go to Epcot or Hollywood Studios, you can do that from the Beach Club Villas and the Boardwalk Villas. Now, another transportation option is the Monorail. Now, the Villa Resorts on the Monorail will allow you to take a monorail to the Magic Kingdom. And those resorts are Bay Lake Tower, the Polynesian Resort Villas and Bungalows, and the villas at Disney's Grand Floridian. In fact, there's also a monorail to Epcot that you can catch from the Magic Kingdom monorail. However, that process, it does take a long time. You're better off using another route to get to Epcot, honestly. You can also use the Skyliner. Now, guests staying at the Riviera Resort as well as the Pop Century and the Art of Animation, which are the value resorts, you guys have access to the Skyliner. You can also take from the Magic Kingdom area and the Epcot area boats. Though they're not usually the quickest transportation method, these boats will give you another option to get to nearby resorts and parks. And again, of course, you can also take the Walt Disney World Resort buses. So all deluxe resorts have buses available, but you may be surprised to learn that most of them share buses with other deluxe resorts. Now, once you get on, you'll likely have other stops as you come and go from places at Walt Disney World. Now, if you're looking to park when you get to the resort, really in 2018, just a little bit of a fun fact, in 2018, Disney began charging all resort guests for parking. Now, the cost for parking at deluxe resorts is $25 per night. So, again, I know I'm talking about deluxe resorts, but that's just some different information I want to give you for all these things. So, again, for all of these things that I mentioned, you can go to www.disneyworld.disney.go.com. And if you have any questions, you can shoot me a comment, and I'll be happy to answer to the best of my ability. Well, y'all, that's all the time I have for this week's episode of the Disabled Podcast. Be sure to join me next time when we do our special 10th episode anniversary, where we're going to actually play some Disney trivia. So gather your friends and family, and let's do some Disney trivia together on the next episode. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and we'll see ya
Real soon.